how agentic AI works. So in order to understand about agentic AI, first we need to understand behavior or characteristics of agentic AI. So the very first one going to be every agent need to be autonomy in nature. What does it mean by autonomy in nature is, so now you, for example, the regular AI models, what exactly they're going to do, you are able to provide an input to an LLM model, you are able to get an output. So this is not really an autonomy. For example, you are asking it to write a code. It is able, the LLM is able to write a code, so it is able to get an output. So what if the output or the code it has written is not really right? So that is not autonomy. You are giving a task, the LLM is just providing you with certain response. So this is called as generative AI. So what is this called as? Generative AI. You are able to give certain text, the LLM is able to understand and is able to give a response. We are able to call it as what? In simple lines, it is a generative way. It is not an autonomy. So now what exactly autonomy is? Now it is able to look at the output. It is able to understand, I made a mistake in this output, and it is able to correct it. So if it is able to fix the errors on its own, we are able to call that behavior as autonomy. So that is the very first thing. For example, I asked it to book a flight ticket. So it searched for Air India, it is unable to retrieve the document, so it stopped. That is not autonomy. So it is able to get some errors, it is fixing the errors by doing a lots and lots of looping. We call it as what? Autonomy. So in order to achieve autonomy, you need to apply within the agents, you need to apply a concept called as loop engineering. What exactly you need to do? You need to do a proper loop engineering. And after autonomy, the second level is called as every LLM model need to have a tool use. For example, take this LLM model. Now for the same LLM model, if you're able to connect certain tools, what can be a tool? Now you are asking about, may I know, for example, who won FIFA 2026. So now if you're able to give this input to your regular LLM model to anything, it's going to give an output stating that I don't know 2026 happened. So based on my knowledge, the last FIFA is won by this particular team. It is able to give a response. But so based on the prompt it asked, okay, now the current date is maybe like 2026. Let me search through the data. Now you connected an LLM, a tool. What is the tool? It's going to be web search. It is able to search through the web, retrieve the information, and based on the information, it is giving you updated knowledge. Hey, as of for this particular day 2026, this particular team won FIFA World Cup. So now you're connecting your LLM models with a particular tools. We are able to call it as what? Agent. Again, so every agent need to behave autonomy. How you are able to achieve autonomy? With the help of loop engineering, and then you are trying to provide the tool use in order to search through the internet, or maybe in order to run your Python code, or in order to maybe send an email, you connected Gmail to your LLM model. So another tool going to be, you connected your LLM model with a Gmail. So now it is able to write an email. It is able to pull out all the data from Gmail and it is able to respond. It is able to draft it. It is able to delete certain emails if you wanted. So you are connecting Gmail as a tool. So now we call it as what? Agentic AI. So second one, there need to be tool use. And the third one, after the tool use, there need to be a memory. There are two types of memory. So we call it as short-term memory, and there is another one called as long-term memory. What exactly short-term memory going to be? Now you are making a conversation. It is able to remember the entire conversation. So we are able to call it as short-term memory. And now in order to give a response, for example, now this agent is working in my healthcare industry or in my pharmaceutical industry or in my manufacturing industry, it need to understand the overall external data we have. It need to understand the context of our business. It need to understand the context of what it's really doing. Let's say it is trying to write code or it is trying to fix the errors in a data engineering ETL pipeline. Let's say that's what the agent need to do. So it need to behave autonomy. We connected various tools to perform the actions, to run the Python commands, to search the web, and it need to have a memory, short-term memory for that particular chat history. And again, a long-term memory is the all the code repo we are feeding is we are feeding it as an external data to our agent to understand how we really write a code in our organization. So we call it as long-term memory. You are able to feed this long-term memory with a kind of a plan called as RAG architecture. There is a process to feed the external data. We call that as called as what? RAG architecture. Or you are able to feed this long-term memory using the database. If you are trying to connect directly a database to your LLM models, you no need to really follow RAG. You can directly plug in your database to your LLM models. And finally, your agent need to do reflection. What exactly meant by a reflection is, now you are able to start writing, you are asking an input, it is able to generate an output, and it need to start looking at the output. Is this output is right for this question customer or the user asked it, or do I need to do it better? It is able to start looking at it, and again it is able to start doing the performance one more time. It is able to do one more time autonomy, tool use, memory. If it is able to start looking at the output, understand whether it is right or wrong, until I'm able to satisfy the user if I'm doing it, we call it as agent, or we call it as agentic AI. So again, there is a difference. What is an AI agent and what is an agentic AI? You can check my video. It is there in my YouTube channel. And now here these are called as, these are the four characters. If you are trying to build any agent, your agent need to have these four characters. And to achieve this, what we are doing now, this is the architecture. If you say, if I want to build a real agentic AI in real time, so these are the layers of my agent look like. The very first one going to be, you're able to start with a use case. So why you are really building an agent? So now in real time, people build agents for two things. One, they want to remove friction. One, they want to remove friction. What exactly meant by a friction is, now in order to book a flight tickets, there is a step of process. I want to reduce that number of process someone is trying to spend. That is called as a friction. Or maybe I want to book a hotels. Let's say I want to book a hotel for my travel. Again, there is a list of process. I want to search for the best hotels. I did need to have a good reviews. I want to check the photos and all of that. Even I want to with a one or two clicks, I want to book the hotels or the book the flight tickets. I want to remove the friction. To remove the friction, or in order to release an agent for non-value added activities. What is meant by non-value added activities? Now I am already hiring a lot of team to do the work where customers are not really willing to pay for it. Even there I want to release what? Agents. Now we want to start with the very first thing called as, I want to define the use case. Why you are really building an agent? Very important. If you're directly saying I worked on an agent, most of the people make this mistake. They are building agents, but they don't know why they build it. The recruiters ask the same question, why you are building the agents, but they don't know the reason behind it. And based on your use case, you want to choose the right LLM model. There are different LLM models. For example, you're able to take an LLM model from OpenAI. So you're able to take an LLM model from OpenAI, or you are able to take an LLM model from Google, or you are able to take an LLM model from XAI, or you are able to take an LLM model from Anthropic. Now, within this, for example, let's say ChatGPT, you have types 5.5, 5.4, mini, nano, or if you're able to go to Anthropic, you got Opus, you got Sonnet, you got Fable. There are different types of models. So, how you select the right LLM model? That is also a question. And once you selected the LLM model, so now how you are selecting based on the use case, you want to select the right LLM model. And after selecting your LLM model, again, it's not just about the use case, it's about the use case, it's about the billing based on your token, what is your usage. So now what is your projected ROI by solving this use case. So based on all of these conditions, you are able to choose the right LLM model. And once you selected the LLM model, you need to select the right agentic architecture. There are different types of agentic architectures. We are able to build these architectures using Python libraries like LangGraph, or you are able to do it with QAI, or you are able to build it with, now we are calling it as Microsoft Agent Framework. We call Microsoft Agent Framework. Initially, there used to be Autogen got converted into this. And again, some people, in order to build the architectures, they use another library called as Llama Index. So these are different Python libraries to build your agents. Now, what are the architectures you have? You got a single agent architecture, Within that, you got React architecture, plan and act architecture, or plan and execute, we call it, or COT, chain of thought architecture. And again, you have multi-agent architecture. So within multi-agent architectures also, you got hierarchical agents, sequential agents, in this way, swarm agents. There are different types of architectures. And again, there is a hierarchical agents. Here you can see there is a swarm agent or a graph or dynamic routing agent. So these are different types of architecture you want to select. Again, how you select an architecture based on the use case. So now based on the use case, which architecture, this is very good at solving the problem. So a single agent can really solve, or a multi-agent need to be solved. So you are trying to decide between which architecture to go with. And once you have a good architectural plan, okay, I want to go with this architecture, and then you want, in order to work on the agents, this LLM models need to perform actions. So these LLMs need to be connected with the tools. It need to be connected with the tools to behave like autonomy. So for that reason, what you're doing, you're integrating tools and APIs. For example, do I need to connect this LLM model with Gmail or with Notion, or maybe with a Python environment, or with a SQL, or maybe like with a PDF creator? What exactly you want to connect with? Or maybe I want to connect with some drawing tool. So you want to connect your LLM models with your another layer called as tools and API layer, so that it is able to perform. The purpose of tools is to perform task. So tools and APIs are able to perform task, and every conversation made with the user so need to be recorded. So for that, you have a short-term memory. Here you have two types of memory, as I said, short-term memory and a long-term memory. So short-term memory purpose is for the entire chat conversation, and a long-term memory is for feeding your context of your organization. Let's say if you are trying to book a flight tickets, I want to feed the entire context of my flight tickets, my hotel data I want to feed, my flight data I want to feed. All of this I'm feeding it as an external data, we call long-term memory. And then I want to design the proper prompt. So here comes your prompt engineering. I'm writing it as PE. You need to define your prompt engineering. So your system prompt you need to define. You need to set your guardrails. Within the prompts also, we are able to set prompt guardrails. So prompt engineering is very, very important. So again, within prompt engineering, you have types: zero shot prompt, few shot prompt, single shot. What is that? A single shot prompt, dynamic few shot prompt, reflection prompt, again, chain of thought prompt, tree of thought prompt. There are different types of prompting strategies. You are able to provide your prompt engineering here at the fifth layer. And finally, how exactly your input to behave. For example, how you are, so you want to set a constraints to your LLM models, we call them as guardrails. Again, you can set a guardrail. So guardrail is like what kind of inputs you should not give responses. Only for which inputs you are able to give responses. You are setting those controls with the help of input guardrail. How your LLM to behave, you are able to give guardrails to your LLM model. How your tools to behave, you are able to set a guardrail for your tools. How your output to be generated, you are able to set a guardrail to your outputs. We are able to set guardrails to your L agents. So there are four types of guardrails: input guardrails, your tool guardrails, your LLM guardrails, and finally it's going to be your output guardrails. And finally, once you have implemented all of these steps, you are trying to test your agent and evaluate. If it is able to fail what you are looking for, the use case, again you iterate the process. In case if it is able to succeed or pass, you are able to push it to the live, or you are able to deploy this agent to the production. So this is what happening in real time. So if you want to really build agents, yes, you need to have all of these layers to be implemented in your AI agents. And remember, what is an agent? If an LLM model is able to behave autonomy, and it's able to do some tool calls, able to have a memory, and if it is able to look at the output and understand whether this output is right or wrong, until it is able to satisfy the output, if it is able to start generating, we can call it as an agent. If it is able to simply take an input, give an output, it is not really an agent, it's just a generative AI model. I hope you got an idea. In case if you really have any doubts on building agents, you can drop your views in the comments.